You need a website. You need a website.
You need a website. Yeah, you need a website. Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry that we're a little bit late, but we're here in the end. Glad you could join us. Hi. I'm just going to feedback. So today we are going to be speaking to Yvonne Tomlin Miller, who has written a fantastic book called Lifetricity. Now, I was just saying to her that me, myself, I'm halfway through the book. I thought that I would get through it a lot quicker, but I'm telling you, it is one of those workbooks that you just have to keep on going over and over. And the one thing that I really like about this book is, you know, when something speaks directly to you and I'm like, oh my gosh, did she actually write this with me in mind? Like, I don't know, because everything in the book, it was just so pertinent to me. And even when you've watched things and you've listened to things, you might have read books like The Secret, or you might, one of my favorite is The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. If you know, on a self-help or self-development journey, you definitely will relate to this book very well. And the way that it's written is so simplistic, and it's just easy to understand and to relate to. So I'm just so glad to have Yvonne with us today. She's going to hopefully give us some tips and, you know, some guidance, and she will give you the information on how to purchase the book and how to connect with her. So hello, Yvonne, welcome to the show. And please, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing and why you decided to embark on this journey of writing this book?
Hi everybody. My name's Yvonne, and I have to say that I think the book chose me. I had a book in me, following me around for years, and my whole family have had to endure me talking about stuff and mulling it over in my mind to write this book. Basically, I was born to immigrant parents from Jamaica, raised in Brixton, and I feel that with the foundation and the grounding to be able to, I suppose, see things in a different way. I remember walking through the streets of Brixton during the riots and thinking, this isn't the way. This isn't the way for us to move forward, of expressing ourselves, involves our taking sort of action that is more positively infused. So I decided that I wanted to make a different mark on this world. So when I was at school, I went to a very large comprehensive. I'm not going to name it because it's a good way. Meeting with the careers teacher who said, thing that she said to most people, and I thought, dinner lady? Why would I want to be a dinner lady? Anyway, that's what she felt I should do, and I believed her. So I did embark on catering. I realized was that I wanted more. So I owned my first restaurant at the age of 23, had a second restaurant in my 30s, decided I wanted to do something more in education, and I became one of the youngest London principals of college in Wimbledon. And despite all of this, I still niggling, I don't know, sort of in a demon really, always doubting myself and feeling that I wasn't what I wanted to be. And that's where the book kicked in. I had a really difficult personal situation to deal with, which just rocked me to the core. I had a stillbirth at 6 months pregnant, and going through that rocked me. I couldn't hide from the emotions that were kicking in. And that's literally, I think, where I had the idea for this book. I felt that I needed to develop myself, and that's what I embarked on. I read every book going, hundreds and hundreds of books. And what I realized was that sometimes they were really confusing, but I had invested a lot of time in doing so. And I feel that Lifetricity is a reflection of the simplification of all of those techniques and strategies that are outlined in some of those books, like The Secret. There was always like something missing. And I thought, I am writing this book from the outside. I'm writing it from academic piece to sort of stroke my ego. I literally thought about what people would want and wrote it to that remit. And I think, you know, I feel really blessed at what you said, Jen, because that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to resonate with people. And do you know something? I've read my own book back and it is talking to me as well, because it's almost like stripping layers. When you get past a certain layer, talking to me and I'm accessing things that mean a different thing from when I wrote it. That's how you use it. It's a coach in the book. And talking about self-parenting, I refer to the emotions, your life. Nobody teaches you, and you have some other core skills, but how to navigate how you can use the emotional charges within you. And that's why I called it Lifetricity, because it's a combination of electrical charges that are within us all, and life. It's the ability to create and ignite new pathways. But if you don't know how to do it, it can be very overwhelming because your emotions are involved and you're battling the old with the new. And in my book, I outline, I feel quite clearly, how you can walk through and step through the processes towards the change that you desire. So self-parenting, you've got to treat yourself like you would a child, not a neglected child, not one that will be taken into care, because I think often we self-neglect so much that, you know, we would be condemned as parents. We've got to look after ourselves with the kindness and the love that we deserve. I feel a bit preachy, but that's how I feel about this book.
Like, you know what, when you have a passion and then you created something that is really fantastic, you know, you have to kind of get people to understand what exactly you're talking about. And to be honest with you, you've actually like touched on like two of the other questions that I was going to ask you in terms of what Lifetricity is. I know you kind of went into like the spark of life and stuff, but I'd love you to go into more detail, because I'm like a science buff. So anything you know, I believe that we are all electricity, we all are energy. So it's amazing how you've made that connection with like electricity and, you know, awakening yourself in your book. And I'd just like you to expand on that. And also, you gave a very good example of what self-parenting is. And I know that in the book, you kind of dismiss self-help, which I completely understand, because in your mind, when you're thinking about self-help, you're thinking about, you know, if you think about like help, hired help, is something kind of beneath you. Whereas if you're thinking about self-parenting, it kind of gives you a new dynamic of how you're kind of treating yourself. You're treating yourself how you would raise a child, like you're raising yourself, which I just think is just a fantastic concept. So I'd just like you to just go into a little bit more depth about the actual word Lifetricity and what it means to you, and expand a bit on the self-parenting.
Okay. Lifetricity, I have to say, I'm not a scientist at all. I didn't do science at school, I had no interest. That was until I realized that Einstein, of all people, a scientist, was very much embedded and ingrained with the thought management, how you manage your mind. And I think in looking at what he did, I realized that, you know, we know that we're filled with atoms. He really brought to life the whole concept of the power of your thoughts, and even the observer principle. What you apply your time to, what you observe, what you look at, expands. And that is a scientific fact. That is known. And I suppose there is a bit of the law of attraction. I think the thing is take one aspect of it, which is if I think something, I'll get it, and that's it. And they literally think it's going to be instantaneous magic, which would be quite dangerous. You have to be quite convincing of yourself to pursue anything, and your body will not allow you to pursue something that could be dangerous. So if you suddenly in a whim decide to do something, it's just not going to happen like that instantaneous. You know, it's not going to be as instant as you would like. So I think the law of attraction, small element of it around the mind power, but what I think is the missing link is the whole other aspect around how you use action to ignite electrifying sort of binds. You've got to really immerse and build the link to what you want. And if you think you're going to be able to do that with your old thinking, I mean, we always trick ourselves and we're like, oh, we know, like with diet, suddenly we decide we know what to do when we don't. We've read half a book and we decide what we want to do, but it's just like, it's tricking yourself. You don't know what you're going to do unless you fully embed yourself, follow the examples of those that have done it, find a coach that has done the training and has proven that it works, and you learn those bonds, if you like. So they're sort of like electrical bonds. I don't know the scientific terms, but I just felt it was more about science being very much aligned to universal powers, God, a higher source, which I think is within us as well as outside of us. We have to learn to align to that, and it's in others. And what you will find is that you will suddenly, once you set your goals and quite clear about what it is that you want to do, things start to align. Suddenly the person who you're meant to speak to will give you a call, or you'll just see them, or that's how it aligns. It's connectivity within all of us. So there's another aspect of realizing that you can't do it in isolation. We're not just a sole person on this earth, we are a collective. So you have to trust that, you know, I was brought up in a family where my dad used to always say, don't have friends, you can't have friends. And I think, why can't you have friends? It's like a real thing of not trust. It might be a Jamaican thing coming to England. You mustn't trust people, you know, friends are, you know, not good for you and everything. And I think it sends out the wrong message. You've got to learn how to make wise decisions. And even if you make decisions that aren't great for you with friendships, you just move on. I think the difficulty is when you're stuck. But anyway, the whole thing of life is just trying to reinforce the excitement of what we can ignite in this world and what's available to you. And it doesn't have to be as complicated as you think. And what was the second half of the question? You said Lifetricity, and what was the other bit you wanted to me to ask?
Expand on self-parenting, the thought process behind self-parenting as opposed to self-help.
Right, so what I felt with self-help, and I think this is what happened when I was going through my own personal development, I think I prefer to call it that, I thought, oh, well, do I need help? Am I helpless? It just made me feel as if it was going to be this ongoing, I needed to be repaired, I was damaged. It just sent out those types of messages, and it felt like a bit of an onerous battle. And it's not to say that self-help is bad, it's just really, it sends out the notions of you being helpless. But if you see something taught you, you know, if no one taught you to read, you would be at a disadvantage. It's the same with these sort of skills. So I've lumped it in that bag because I'm now a parent, you know, well, my son's 10 years old. And it was around the time when I was becoming a parent and trying to work out how I was going to parent. And I suddenly thought, I don't even know how to parent myself. I felt almost schizophrenic in the way that I would respond to my son, my dad or my mum, automatic response, no. And I've been thinking, why am I saying no? I don't even know what he's asking me. So I just realized that I was like having this battle for myself. I needed to not only learn how to parent him, but I had to catch up and reset my automatic pilots that were put into me because I was influencing him. But then I started to really benefit from applying those techniques to myself. Realized that at any one time I have a choice about how I can the decisions that I make in any step. So I plotted out, it's a 7-point plan on how to self-parent. And it takes you through, really, it's about expanding on the emotional charges that lay within particular terms. So we talk about gratitude a lot. and as an observer, been to Jamaica loads of time, and I have to say that they're a very grateful set of people. And I think it counterbalances the, you know, some of the negativity that occurs in Jamaica, because everyone goes to church, my mum drinks a cup of tea for the food. And I think there's something about what is contained in that emotion, if you fully embrace and believe it, that is so powerful you would not believe. Same as things like forgiveness, acceptance. When you go in on a deeper level, these words, references, have such a powerful impact, and you should learn how to use it. It's the same as, you know, any other sort of negative type connotation. If you put yourself down, then you're going to see evidence of, you know, being a bad person. It's the same. You've got to be careful about how you speak, the words that you choose. And I've noticed that, you know, a lot of these sort of American stars that have done really well, they always have a very high level of gratitude, giving thanks to a higher source. And that is a pattern. If you start to observe it, people that are successful embrace it fully. So I think it's just one of those things that resonated at a particular time. I made up the word, which is a bit risky because when you Google it, you know, no one's ever heard of it, but I felt it was apt for my book.
No, that is brilliant, because like I said, I've already coined both Lifetricity and self-parenting is going to be in my vocabulary for the rest of my life. It is just absolutely brilliant. And like I said, some of the points that you've made in the book is, I just have to say, it's like mind-blowing, because for anybody who's like never been on a self-development journey, or you've been on it for you know, a few years, I think for me, the place that I'm at in my life at the moment is that, okay, I looked a couple of years ago in self-development. I got to a stage in my life, you know, achieved a few goals, and then I kind of like plateaued, because I thought, okay, well, I've done that now, so there's no need for more self-development. Lo and behold, new opportunities have come up, you know, life changes, different things happen, and I'm like, okay, what do I do? And it's like I've even forgot where I was, you know, a couple of years ago. So I think like self-development is a continual thing that you need to kind of train your mind, as you said, all the time. And you know, when I was reading the book, I was like, wow, you know, there's certain things that I'm going through at the moment that I'm like, oh, I don't think I can do that because I'm just not good enough. And then while I was reading the book, I'm like, well, why not? Like, at the end of the day, why are you limiting yourself? Why are you trying to say that you cannot achieve this? And, you know, I was literally fighting with myself, and I was like, do you know what? I'm going to stop everything I'm doing and just read the book. Because once I finish reading the book, then at least like I can kind of calm my mind, because it was literally just telling me everything that I needed to do. And I'm telling you, everyone needs to pick up this book. I'm even going to make my sons read this book, because I just think it's so brilliant, and it's so simple to understand as well. I mean, like you can see, I've got about, I'm on chapter 4, guys, and I've got like pages of notes. That is how deep it is. So yeah, it's just absolutely brilliant. But I was going to ask for 5 tips, but I'm just going to ask for 3, because I really want people to engage in the book. So if you could give me like 3 tips to, you know, start somebody off on their journey to whether it's to achieve a goal, to overcome like a challenging experience in their life, or you know, overcome like maybe some type of anxieties or depression. Just 3 tips that you could suggest, and you know, how it would help, especially with them engaging in your book.
Okay, well, that's quite funny, because I only prepared 3 tips. So we're aligned and we don't even realise. The first tip, I think, is the most important thing that you have to come to terms with. And it's the one where people will think, oh, I can't bother to do this. You have to build your self-love muscle. And you might think that you love yourself, but do you really love yourself? When you look in the mirror, what is it that you're saying? If you put on a particular item of clothing, what are you saying to yourself? Because if it's not very nice, that self-love muscle is weak. So one quick tip to really start to get this changed: when you brush your teeth in the morning, you're looking in the mirror, hopefully, as well. I want you to say, I love and like myself. And actually, the most important thing is like, because people like yourself. So if you do this for the next couple of weeks, it instantly sort of raises your self-esteem, because you're sending a deep sort of commitment around, well, I like you, you know, and I own that. So please try that one. I've talked about gratitude. It's a really big one for me as well. Be grateful for every experience that has made you who you are in this very moment, in this present moment. No matter what the past entailed, past is gone. You can change how you think about the past. That's your power. Yeah. You can choose to learn from the past. In this present moment, you can be the best that you have ever been. You can choose to think that right now, right this second. No one can take that away from you. The other one, which may appear controversial, but I think it's more a play with words: ditch trying to be positive. I've come across so many people saying, I'm trying to be positive, and literally it's become an industry, because they start looking for negative. Oh, was I being positive then? Or but was I being negative? And they get into a tangle. Ditch it. What you want to get to is, you will know when you are oozing positivity, because you've adopted emotions that are immersed in sort of positive vibes, like being solution focused, being kind in your words to yourself, even being. So it's more about adopting principles that will naturally bring sort of positive vibes around you. Commitment to lifelong learning, I think, is a big one. And it doesn't mean you have to go to school all the time. You know, you can YouTube videos, you can learn. I learned how to make a chair cover the other day, and it makes you feel so good, just keeping your brain stimulated. You know, I do feel really upset about hearing of increase of Alzheimer's and stuff like that. And do you know something? We've got to stimulate and keep our mind really fresh, and so that we keep going for a long time. So those are my 3 top tips. But I've also got a freebie that people, if they email me, I will send them 5 top tips on how to be brave and embrace developing your confidence. So that's something that you will get as a gift of love from me. And I'll give you my email address when you want that. And obviously you can access my book. It's on Amazon now. You can have it in Kindle or paperback version. So should I give my email address?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it is info@lifetricity.co.uk, and Lifetricity is spelt L-I-F-E Tricity, T-R-I-C-I-T-Y, as in electricity. So if you pop me an email, I'll send you over a free copy of my ebook, and I'll also add you to my email list, where I send out lots of quotations. And if you've been getting the quotations, Genevieve, yeah, and the words of inspiration, I get lots of people actually saying, Yvonne, that was just so relevant, like saying I needed that particular thing at that time. And I don't know how that works, but I've just decided that I want to share the love, and that's my quest on this earth.
Nice. Yeah, definitely. I will put your email. I don't know what this is. I will put your email in the description bar, so that anyone that watches this video can just click on it quite easily. And also I will put the Amazon link to your book in there as well, so people can access that easily as well. Definitely, I mean, I've got it on Kindle, but I'm going to buy the paperback version because I need to write notes. It's as simple as that. It's one of those things where I need to have it. I need to have the physical book in my hand, definitely. But yeah, so if you want to connect with Yvonne, please email her. Do you do any types of like one-on-one or group, or do you do any seminars or anything like that that people can connect with?
I am going to start doing some seminars. So once that, if you're on my email list, you'll definitely get information about when I'm setting those up. Due to start something in April around the seminars. And yeah, so join up to the email list and you'll definitely get lots of goodies from me.
Right, that's brilliant. Definitely will be connecting with that. There's only very few reasons that I come to London these days, but that will definitely be one of them. But yeah, so you've just given us a lot of food for thought. I just want to thank you for, you know, coming on the show and sharing your words of inspiration. I really hope that anyone that is listening, some of the words that you said has resonated with them. And like I said, I'm just going through the book at the moment, and it is definitely pertinent to my life at present. And I've ditched all the other books for now. This is going to be at least, I'm planning to read at least a chapter a night for at least 2 or 3 months until I've really honed in on the information and can start applying, because Yvonne did speak about action. It's okay we're watching The Secret and thinking, yeah, we can, you know, create our lives, but what if our whole thinking is wrong in the first place? How are you going to create something if your whole thought process is flawed? So, you know, she talks about awakening the mind and dealing with you know, how you can access and how you can actually change your belief systems, and, you know, just a whole load of amazing information. And it's not difficult to understand. You know, she's written it very, you know, succinctly. So it's just something that you just need to engage with, and it's not a long read either. The only reason why it's taken me so long is because I've gone over and over again to do the workshops, and like going back to this, and you know, sometimes some things you just have to go over and over, and it's just one of those things that you have to do. So definitely it is one of my #1 reads at the moment this year. I'm so grateful that you connected with me, and, you know, I was able to interview you and read your book. So I hope everyone that hears this interview will go and buy the book as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks so much it's been a pleasure. And thanks to everyone that's listening. I think it's an amazing thing what you're doing, and chin up and keep going forward. If you've got any questions, come and ask me. You can email me, can't you? Come and speak to me if you want to ask me anything about the book. Yeah, you've got access to me. So
thank you, Yvonne, and thanks everyone for listening to the show, and everyone that will be listening to it in the future. Please subscribe to Genevision Media on YouTube. Connect with our Facebook page as well. Like I said, I will update the description bar with all of Yvonne's information, so you can connect with her if needed. And yeah, just if you've got anything to say in a couple of months or whatever of how she's helped, you know, get in contact with us and, you know, give us a testimony. That would be brilliant, because I'm sure that, like, the stuff that I'm going through at the moment, definitely I will be sending Yvonne an email and letting her know how it's helped me, because even over this weekend, it's definitely given me a lot of food for thought. So thank you guys, and I will see you again very soon. Now, in actual fact, I'll see you tomorrow, so I'll put the description of the next interview later on. Take care, bye.